Okay, let's see what's happening here. All right. It's a great day. What's up? Welcome back. We were just here a little while ago, but it was for married couples, right? Now, this is for singles. How to have a hot, sexy marriage or an engagement for a marriage in 8 weeks or less. We're up for the challenge. Phyllis, are you up for the challenge?
Sure.
That's awesome. Super pumped that you are willing to be a part of this mentorship program and to be willing to do it live in front of the world. And so we're going to walk Phyllis through this process to see her have some awesome results. But guess what? You get to be on this journey with us as well. So for the next 8 weeks at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or mark your clock, whatever time it is where you are right now, we're going to be here live. And we're going to spend time going through this process with Phyllis and what we call mentorship program that we are doing with our clients. And we're going to do a session every week and walk through the process. So if you want to be a part of it as well, if you are single and you're ready to be married and you want to have a fast track to a hot, sexy engagement or a hot, sexy marriage, right? Where you get engaged or get at least in connection and starting the process towards marriage in the next 8 weeks, join us on this journey. Follow directions, walk through the process with us. And when I give Phyllis homework and action items, you take it for yourself as well. Is that a deal? We're good. Let's see what happens. But Phyllis, thanks again for joining us. Phyllis, would you please tell us who you are and tell us a little bit about yourself and some background, please?
All right. I'm Phyllis Byers. I am 61. I have 3 children that are 28, 24, and 21. And boy, girl, boy. 2 of them live outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. And I live in Canton, Georgia. And my youngest lives with me at the moment. And I love to dance. I love to sing. Not that great at it, but I love to do it. and and I love to. I'm a sports spectator. I love to watch sports, or it's pretty much most any sport, but particularly baseball. Go Braves! And football and basketball. I like volleyball too.
So awesome. Phyllis, thank you so much for sharing who you are and being a part of this process with us. It's such an honor and a blessing. We have the opportunity. You're part of our community at Peculiar Sanctuary, and you're a part of what we're doing. And I want to explain to our audience what it is our process is as we have our 3C methodology. And some of these terms you may or may not have heard of before. And we have our communication cubed and fast track marriage. These are 3 different processes that we have in order to help see Phyllis reach her results. And she does have an advantage over you. She's actually processing the course, which is part of the process of 3C methodology. It's a simple, practical activities that will fast track her confidence, her connection, and her communication skills, which is what you need if you want to have a hot, sexy marriage, just so you know. And also, Communication Cubed is a very in-depth training on the supernatural way of communication and connection that is actually 4-dimensional. Get it? Communication's cubed because 4-dimensional. And it's very in-depth. And again, Phyllis has a huge advantage because she's going through the course that is doing all these things and going through this process, 4 phases, and the connection, sanctuary practices, and then also fast track marriage. I noticed that Phyllis actually followed directions and started that process as well. And for the time being, others have access to that program. We will be taking that over to a subscription base. For those of you that are like, oh no, I got to check it out. Because that course right now is on Facebook. You can look it up, Fast Track Marriage. But we will be going to another platform, and it will be a subscription base, because again, the platform is going to be designated for Fast Track to Marriage. People that want to fast track their marriage to a hot, sexy marriage, and are tired of being single and ready to mingle and ready to get married. So we're going to actually create it on a better platform. Facebook has been great, but those videos on there, there are 5 sessions on there, and sometimes people can't navigate. They get lost in all the other stuff. So we're going to make that very professional and clear on a different platform, but the only it's a $10 monthly subscription. So I don't think it's too bad. We're just offsetting some costs. But anyways, just talking to our audience a little bit, making you aware of what's happening and what's going to be going on. But Phylis has access to all this stuff because she is a member of our Connection DNA community. She's a part of our course. She's actually been to a retreat of ours that we've had, and she's knows her stuff. She's going through the content and continuing to go through the content. She's gone through even Fast Track, some of Fast Track, and we'll continue to go through it through this next 8 weeks. And that will be part of our sessions. And by the way, this is raw and unscripted, because this is how our sessions are. When we do sessions with our clients, we do video, we communicate with them, we ask questions, we record it, and then we send it to our clients so they can review it afterwards. The blessing is all of you get to be a part of it with Phylis and I. And we're raw, real, and totally unscripted. So we hope that you'll join us every week for the next 8 weeks. And Phylis, I remember originally, I think we said it was going to be a short session. I've made the decision that we're going to do a full session of 45 minutes.
Okay.
So hopefully you have time for that.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, good. I figured you might make time for that.
To do that.
Yeah. So I couldn't remember if I told you, because originally we were talking about doing video shorter for the video's sake, but people that really want this information, people that really want to be married, will stick around with us and be a part of the process and stick around for 45 minutes. Because through this process, it will be very purposeful, and we'll have time for you to ask questions to Phylis through this process, just like any other normal session. And but we definitely want to cover those the 3C methodology. Make sure that you're doing those things, because that is part of the process of this. And then make sure as well that you are understanding and gaining that communication cubed process, right? And then also the Fast Track Marriage. So those are the 3 things we will focus on during these sessions. So let's get right into it. Phylis, thanks for that introduction, by the way, and telling us who you are and what you're interested in. And it's fantastic. Maybe that special guy is out there watching right now. You never know. Could be. Or maybe someone watching knows someone that they can introduce you to. Our only criteria, one of our main criteria that I will say, and then Phylis can have her say on but number one, probably should like sports, by the way, but number one criteria is that whoever that you connect with, this is my number one advice to anybody looking for a spouse: find someone who is teachable and coachable, willing to learn, because that's essential. Because I don't care where they are in life right now, if they're teachable and coachable and willing to learn, oh my goodness, we can walk them through this process as well, and they will be a great fit for Phylis. That's my main criteria and my advice to all of our clients, which, by the way, just to give you guys some understanding of what's taken place, we've had clients that went from meeting each other through this process to married in 88 days. Crazy. We've had people that started this process, got involved, and then made the decision to connect with each other and pursue each other for marriage. And in 6 weeks, we're engaged. And then 3 weeks later, which was this past weekend, got married. So 9 weeks going through the process together and are married now. And it's super powerful to see these clients doing these things. We've also had clients that got engaged and married in less than 6 months. We've had several of those. So, and this course, this process, Fast Track to Marriage, the course, the 3C, oh my goodness, 3C methodology. These new terms, I'm trying to get them right. It is only been around, the 3C methodology, the communication cubed, and Fast Track to Marriage has only been around for actually officially for the last 2 years. This is what's so fascinating. And however, it's been around for longer than that, but where we actually had a content that's tangible and people to plug into and be a part of was created 2 years ago. But man, tons of results, tons of incredible things happening. Matter of fact, I was just interviewing with a client today, and I asked them, hey, how soon would you want to be married? And they're like, 4 months after I pulled it out of them. And I'm like, all right, I like a challenge. I said, if you couldn't fail, when would you like to be married by? And he said, 4 months. I said, all right, if you're willing to follow directions, do the hard work, spend an hour a day working on this with me, I assure you that I'm very confident that we can have you engaged, if not married, in 4 months. We've done it with several of the clients. So that's my first question, right? Everybody's wondering, Phylis. And it doesn't have to be 4 months, Phylis. Okay, but if you knew you would succeed, you knew you wouldn't fail, and you would be married, or at least engaged. Let's talk about engagement first. How soon would you like to be engaged? Because people love to hear a target, right? And we set the standard, right? So what's the challenge that you are going to put before me as we go through this process together? When would you like to be engaged by? How many days, months, weeks, whatever you want to call it?
6 months.
6 months. Woo!
You get a little more time than the other one.
What's that?
You get a little more time than the other one.
I'm not afraid. I'm not. We are on it. We literally are. And that's the thing. This process works if people work the process. That's the deal. And Phylis, I don't think you'd be here publicly talking about this and volunteering to be doing this in the public's eye if you weren't going to follow through. And that's the thing that I know about Phylis. Here's the thing. And this is what I put on the post of this intro as well, is that a journey with Phylis says she is a woman with good confidence, great communication, and good connection skills. And our target will be for her to advance to great skills and beyond to mastery in this process. And that's quite a feat. But through that is where you will get the results that you're looking for sure. And so, Phylis, you're amazing at communication. You're amazing at connection. You're a very confident woman. And I've watched you. I watch you do Facebook Lives, right? You're doing these videos on a daily. Is it daily or weekly?
Daily. I do daily. I only do on Sunday's the only day I don't do them.
That's so cool. So you have a daily video that you put out. You're encouraging people. You're doing exercise. You're holding yourself accountable through these videos, but also helping people. You have different themes for different videos, and it's fantastic. I've seen a few of them, and I love it. I love that you are doing this, and it shows. It proves that you have confidence.
Thank you.
And so you're already quite a lot farther along than most. And actually, you've been doing the course for a while, right? What week are you on now?
I'm starting the second one next week. The second week of 8 weeks next week.
Yes!
Yeah, finish the 8 weeks. I've got to redo it.
You finished the 8 weeks. So you're on your week of rest this week?
Yes. And next week I'm going planning. My goal is to do more of the action items for all of the action items.
Way to go. Way
I
to
didn't
go.
do the last time.
All right. So just want to explain to our audience that what Phylis is talking about, she went through our content is the Connection DNA course. Our online course is 8 weeks and 40 sessions. She just finished last week her 8th week, and she has attended a retreat. You can only attend retreats if you're going through the course. Again, we don't want to try to set the foundation and teach people this stuff. We want to actually refine it when they come to a retreat and help them to level up. And so that's what Phyllis did. And she finished her 8th week. Now, what do we encourage people to do? During the 9th week, take a week off, a week of like rest, a week of Shabbat. Cease from what you normally do, and then start fresh on that 10th week on week 1. Why is that? Well, I'll tell you, me and my family, we've been doing this for 10 years. The content we've been doing now for 2 years, and I believe we're on like 12th time through this process, and we will never stop. Why? Because the content in the course is designed in such a way that when we go through it, we're growing, we're learning, and we're leveling up each time. We cycle through, learn some more, cycle through, learn some more, and gain some new wisdom. And it's designed in such a way that it is a legacy course where you, your children, your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, Phyllis, can do this process. And I'm excited to see that take place. You have kids already, and that's going to be part of this process too, is to introduce and start doing the process with your kids as well. Has that started taking place yet?
I've tried. With grown kids, that's a little difficult. But I think things have changed in his life a little bit recently, so that might be an option. I will
All
work on.
right.
I'm going to work on that because
That's
he's got
good.
some areas he needs to work on. But so do I. So
That's awesome. I'm excited for you. I think it's going to be a powerful journey for both of us through this, and for you too, those of you watching. I think it's going to be amazing for you as well if you follow directions. And even though you don't have the course, if you're interested in that, by the way, let myself know or Phyllis, and we'll connect you with the right people. We'll make sure you get the assessment, and we go through the assessment to see where your skills are of communication, connection, and where your confidence is, and then we go from there. See if you qualify to work with us, and we'll work with you through the course, mentorship, and there's all these availability things for you to do if you would like to. But if not, you get to process with Phyllis and I for the next 8 weeks. And so let's start with the first thing, the 3C methodology: confidence, communication, and connection. So, Phyllis, you are definitely on way ahead of most. And through this process, you've been doing not only the content, you've been through all 8 weeks now, all 40 sessions, which is cool. Now you're going back through, you're going to start on Monday. Give us a little bit of feedback, like what your overall let's do a quick debrief. I know there's a lot in 8 weeks and 40 sessions, but your overall understanding of what you experienced, do you feel it has definitely gave you more confidence in skills and confidence, more skills in communication, more skills in connection? Tell us a little bit about what you've experienced and what you like best about it, and give us some feedback over the content from last 8 weeks.
oh well. I was just say it took me a little longer than 8 weeks. That's on me, but I think everything improved in that area. I feel like the content is like it's just a life based on everything that an entire life, everything that you deal with in life. That it helps improve that, or see where areas where you need to improve, but you're doing well in, and things you need to improve on. I like the fact that we focus on strengths and things that we're not as good at, that we refine them to be better, and don't talk about weaknesses, just strengths and refining strengths. I really like that part.
That's awesome. What a cool takeaway. And what else? What other kind of takeaways or bullet points or things really stood out to you in these last 8 weeks? What Phyllis is talking about, her first bullet point and first thought was strength cycles. Every Wednesday, the first 4 sessions in 4 weeks on Wednesday, which is like the third session number 3 of every week, we start with the strength cycles of the 4 phases, similar to personality stuff. However, we don't ever look at the weaknesses. And some of you are like, what? That can't work. It does work, actually. We talk about strengths and strengths that you need to improve. And it has to do with 4 faces that are very powerful faces, and that's actually 4 faces of God. They represented by lion, eagle, ox, and the face of man. And there are a lot of similarities and connections to personality traits, but it's not the same. These are strengths, and they're the strengths of those 4 faces. And we create strength cycles because we want to create cycles that will improve your strengths, refine them, and help you to level up each time you go through it. The first 4 weeks are about the strengths of those 4 faces, and you start to connect to them. So my first question then, Phylis, is, since you've been through the content, which face do you feel like you have the most strengths in?
The ox.
The ox. Very cool. She's going to be great then through this semester, because the ox is faithful, loyal, consistent, persistent, and he'll always be there for you. He will or she will, right? That's the ox. And that's super cool. The ox is how we settled the West, actually, because an ox is actually a type of discipline. It's not an animal. It's a discipline that is used on animals, and primarily it is for the bovine, cows, moo, or bulls. So it's a pretty powerful training, and there's 4 weeks of that where it's focused. Each week we focus on a different face. So it's pretty cool stuff. And then the final 4 weeks, we go into the 4 faces and their communication. That's where we then get into the communication cubed, because there's different depths of communication and different levels. And so tell me, what are your thoughts on your type of communication, and which one is your strength in the 4 different dimensions of communication?
That one I got to work on a little bit.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Those were like brand new, like,
Yeah.
like, okay, all right, never heard this before. Or
Right.
so I don't really know the answer to that one at this point. All right.
Okay. Do you feel like, though, so with the face of man, they're really good at asking questions and finding out details. And a lot of people that have been through personal growth and development might know it as forming, asking those questions about family, occupation, recreation, message. The face of man is actually very skilled, does that well. And their strength is about asking questions and finding out, gathering information to be able to honor people. So would you say that you're pretty good at that one? You've actually practiced that, I'm sure. I know you've been through some different trainings and things. So would you say that's a good strength for you?
That's a strength. I'm still working on the message part of the forming. The
That's
questions are a little easier.
good.
Uh,
Good.
Still gotta improve on them always.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. But that one comes probably a little more natural than the storytelling, the victory marker communication, right? And the inferring to different things. And even the one that's a little bit supernatural, right? That's why we call it 4-dimensional communication, because it's not just one, it's literally, we're talking multi-dimensional in a very powerful supernatural way. So would you say, though, that the human strength of communication is your best out of the 4?
Probably,
Ah,
probably.
awesome.
Uh,
Yeah, there's some depth there going into even the spiritual communication. Well, I'm super pumped again that you've been through it and that you're starting fresh on week 1. So this next week, by the time we talk again next Wednesday, you'll have done session 3. So you will have gone through doing the ox, because that's the first one that we start with on the face. So you'll have completed that and working on those action items, print those out, and answer those questions. And that's what we'll do each week too, as well. Phyllis, is we'll kind of review the content that you will have gone through when we meet up in the session. So we'll kind of talk about your takeaways from it. We'll look at your action items. I'll have you upload those again, or we're going to have your WhatsApp, your private WhatsApp, just for the mentorship program. And so if you upload things, action items and things that I give you on there, that'll be fantastic. Because again, big part of this mentorship is accountability, right? And making
yeah,
sure you're doing it and following through.
definitely.
So Now, with that, we've talked about the process, a little bit of the process and going through the content and some of your takeaways these last 8 weeks. Do you have another takeaway or a favorite part of the content in the last 8 weeks?
The MVP,
Ah,
the mission, vision, and peculiar. Your
ab-
It's funny. I was actually pretty good at storytelling, but
all right.
so I am I've forgotten how that went. A story educator who educates people through videos. And I'm planning on having a travel blog because I'm getting ready to do a lot of traveling in the next year.
Very awesome. So what Phyllis is referring to is part of the process too of the first 3 weeks we go through, and we call it the freedom cycles, and it's on the fifth session every week. So every Friday, because these are designed to do daily every weekday, she goes through the freedom cycles, which when you learn these cycles, it literally will create such freedom because we're teaching you how to develop and invent your own cycles through the creation process of Genesis. So it really will set you free. And Phyllis is talking about the MVP that we go through, mission, vision, and peculiar, which will help solidify your identity. And like she said, she's good at telling stories. So maybe actually, instead of the ox strength, maybe you are more connected to the storyteller of the lion, right? Because that's the strength of the
Probably.
lion. So possibly you are, and again, for those of you that are listening to this, like the lion, what? That's the face of God, and it actually represents the Messiah or Jesus Christ who walked on the earth, right? The Lion of Judah, get it? The lion, the face of Jesus, the Son of God, as we believe. Phyllis and I both agree on that part. And what's so fascinating about that, any of you that have ever studied Jesus, whether it's through the Bible or through history, yeah, the one that is known as the Messiah, Jesus Christ, I call him Yeshua HaMashiach, the Messiah, Jesus, the Messiah. And you will find that he is very good at telling stories. He is good, and they call him parables. He is
Mm,
like a master parable person in telling stories. So it's pretty cool to watch in the way that he does those things. And that's why, again, when we connect all the dots, you start to see, oh my goodness, the four faces and his strength, not only in the things that he uh, did, but the things that he communicated to can relate to the lion. He was very lion-like when he turned over those tables and was taking a stand for the people because of the money changers and the dishonesty that was taking place in the temple too, as well. Just little nuggets that are really cool because the lion is a very incredible animal that its roar can be heard 5 miles away, and very powerful animal, king of the jungle, known as king of the jungle, the only animal that looks at an elephant and says, there's lunch. An elephant can squash him and kill him with just the swing of his tusk or the stomp of his foot. He's huge, but yet it's the courage of the lion that actually the elephants fear the lion greatly. And so, anyways, just some little nuggets from our content. But Phyllis, I could see that. I can see that lion in you. We're gonna have to poke the lion a little bit more. That storyteller comes out of you. And so that's awesome. Her MVP, she just said her MVP because we went through it in the retreat. That's one of our guarantees when people attend our retreats is that when they leave there, they're going to have their MVP, and it's going to be simplified, right, to a nice little couple sentences, right? So why don't you say that again for them so they can understand this, her mission, her vision, and also wrapped up in there is what's very unique about her or her peculiar. So in these couple sentences, she is doing her mission, her vision, and her peculiar all in one. So go ahead, Phyllis.
I'm a story explorer who educates people through videos and travel blogs.
Very awesome. See, that's so good. I love that. And then now that through this mentorship process too, I am excited to see you fulfill that. So in these next 8 weeks as well, we will process through that to move you towards fulfillment of that. And that takes even mastering your time through your calendar and making sure you're doing tasks and activities that move you towards that mission, move you towards your best identity. And I'm super pumped for you because this is really cool. And one thing that we know about our MVP, it's consistently refining. It's consistently leveling up and getting better as we go through this process. Yours may change a little bit too. That's what questions do. And so super, super blessed to be in this process with you. All right. So that's the MVP. And I'm glad to hear that that's what stood out to you in the process too, because it's a very important one. Now, let's go to, in this process of confidence, communication, connection, in that the 3C methodology, it's very important that you follow through with your ox strengths. You're good at that. So doing the content, you've proven that you're good at following through because you just finished up the 8th week last week. And even though you said that it took you longer than 8 weeks, that's okay. It's totally okay. At least you did it and you kept going. You didn't quit. Remember, that's what we talk about. The only way that you can lose is if you quit. You so you're still winning. So congratulations on that. You're the ox. You're staying faithful and true and focused. So, all right. So now tell me then, because this is part of the process and mentorship, is your calendar. What does your calendar look like? And mainly what I want to focus on is your hour of power. So tell me about your mornings. Let's talk about what time you get up. What do you do? And that way we can, because that's what we want to kind of look at your time. By the way, in week 1, session 1, with people that are understanding in that process, part of this is auditing your time, being willing to check yourself and verify what it is that you're doing with your time. So next week when Phylis, remember she said she's going to start doing more of the action items. That's very common. People go through our course and there's so much, right? There's so much action items and homework that essentially when people first go through our content and our course, our online course, they just soak it in. They listen to it. There's a lot of new concepts there, a lot of action items. Now she's going through it her second time. By the way, this is a lifetime course. So guess what? She has the rest of her life to get through all these action items. I always tell people, don't beat yourself up if you don't do all the action items. It's okay. Don't try to go back and do them. Just move forward. And that's important. Phyllis, I'm telling you that too. It's important. If you get to an action item and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't do all these action items, it's okay. Do 1, do 2, do them all, but keep moving forward. The next day when you have the process, the content, the course, when you're going through the next session on the course, press play again. Focus on those action items. Because what happens when we think, oh my gosh, I haven't finished these action items. I'll tell you the one of the best things, like when we did at the retreat, got them printed out, right? The action items in front of you while you're going through the content. You can be answering some of the questions as you're going through the content, right? That helps. And then you can upload them to WhatsApp, because we're going to do it through WhatsApp because we are mentoring you through this process. Normally, I know you would do it on the platform of Kajabi on our online course platform, but with me personally, you can do it upload it to WhatsApp, so I'll see it directly. All right. So now that I think you found it, give you a little time to find your Doug. And even if you don't have it, tell me a little bit about your mornings. What time do you typically? There you go. Good job.
It was over there. I just had to pull it over here and trying to move my phone and trying to turn it to silent. It was my daughter that called earlier. I could tell her not to call this time of day on Wednesdays.
So tell me about your calendar. Describe it for us. What time do you usually get up? And again, this isn't about trying to impress anybody. This is reality. So whether you get up at 9 or 8 or 5, or I don't care when you get up, I just want to know. And I want you to be true. And so we can process through.
The alarm goes off at 5.
Okay.
I have rarely gotten up at 5. A lot depends on what time I've gone to bed.
That's
And
right.
I made the mistake of turning the Braves game on last night, and that went into extra innings, so I went to bed late. So, like, I am not getting up early because I work a job. I'm a caregiver.
Yes.
And right now she's in the hospital, but I'm taking care of the dog. But I don't have to be there like at an exact time.
Yeah.
I do let them know when I'm there. And I stay about an hour, stay an hour and a half a day. Poor doggy. He don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
But when I do get up, the first thing I do right now, the first thing I'm doing is reading Psalms 91. And
Nice.
yes, I'm reading it out loud.
Good
Have
job.
no idea when we're supposed to stop that. I think I'm a day behind you. So, and then I do the sanctuary practices.
Nice.
You want me to tell them what that is? Or are you going to?
Yeah, I'll run through it. You just keep
Okay.
going with your schedule.
All right. So I do the sanctuary practices, and then I usually work out. And this week I'm taking a nutrition course, and so
Nice.
that's what I'm trying to do. Haven't been able to do
Nice.
that this morning, but normally I do after I do sanctuary practices, I'll do the connection DNA. Just not this week since I'm taking a break from that. But
Mhm.
then I work out, and then I go eat breakfast, and or no, actually I do my daily video. Try. Sometimes I have to do something else first, and so I let people know it'll be later. And then I eat breakfast, and then I go to work.
Awesome.
That's
All
my
right.
morning.
Well, fantastic. This is great. So you start legitimately, your alarm's at 5, but you don't get started
5:30,
till
6:30.
7.
I try
What
not to
time?
get up later than 6:30.
6:30 or 7, you said?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
7 is the latest. Well, I
Gotcha.
will say 7:30 once in a while, but
Right.
I
And
try to do it later.
we always encourage people to do the hour of power and do it in the morning. So you're fulfilling that. That's awesome. And you're doing your Psalms 91, which is great. That's the what I would tell you is, set yourself a time. You're going to start Psalms 91 by 7, right? And just be okay with that. And then, by 7:15, you're starting the sanctuary practices, which the sanctuary practices, for those of you on here, is just it's a process, and we'll be glad to get you the PDF. Just ask me and I'll get you the PDF, the e-workbook, where it walks you through step by step. But you're writing a letter to Papa God, receiving a letter back from Papa God, and then writing out your gratitudes and worthies for self first, or excuse me, Papa God first, self second, first before other people is what I meant to say. So Papa God first, self second, others third. In Phyllis's case, it would your children, some of her children. We also encourage people, if they have children, to go from oldest to youngest by age of honor. I do believe in honoring people by their birth years, and it's pretty awesome to be able to do that with your children. So in Phyllis's case, I'm curious, are you doing some of your GWs with some of the people in the community, or friend, person in the community right now,
Right
currently?
now, I haven't, well, except for one. Right now, I haven't actually read them out loud to anyone, um,
Okay.
besides the one that I did online to Kimberly. I don't know if she actually ever saw it or not.
Right.
She didn't tell me. I tagged her in it, so I was like, hopefully. And I actually texted her. I said, "Hey, you need to listen to this." So,
Oh, that's good.
and but I have actually written gratitudes and worthies for all my children and my son's girlfriend and all the people that live in my house, because I have
That's
more
awesome.
people who live in my house than just my son and me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I love that. And so, yeah, that's the process too. I want you to mark this down. Do you have a pen and paper with you, Phyllis?
I do. That's what I was looking at. It's like when I moved everything, when I went to get that, I accidentally left the pen over there. So, and
Yeah,
this time
go
I'm
ahead
not
and
going to
grab
do
that.
this, so I won't
Um,
make people dizzy.
yeah. So, what I'm going to tell those of you watching is that the process is, again, you can ask me for it and I'll get you the PDF, so that you can have that to reference. It will walk you through it step by step. Um, and part of it is getting a letter back from Papa God. And when you do that, get that letter back, we encourage you to share it with someone because it helps to kind of really help you receive that word, right? Because it's speaking over you. You not only have to believe it, but you have to receive it, and then to be able to speak it to others helps you receive it more, because you're like re-upping that word, or re-upping the communication from Father, from Papa God. And it helps to confirm it when you share it with others. Again, it's the letter back from Papa God that you'll share. PDF gives you very detailed instructions. So again, hit me up for that. Private message me. Probably not messaging in Messenger or in YouTube, because I may not see it. Sometimes I'm not on there all the time. So I want to make sure you get it. So private message me directly, either through Facebook would probably be best. But again, I know there's a YouTube audience here as well. So Phylis, now that you got your pen and paper, one of your action items I want you to do is to actually find someone. You're part of the Connection DNA community. And it's, by the way, it's a private community that only those who are going through the course Connection DNA are a part of. And so I want you to connect with somebody, or multiples, one or two people, it doesn't matter, but at least one person in the community. And it could be another single person, it's fine, or it could be someone that is, again, this process is about practicing the communication. So it could be someone that's married. Matter of fact, when we get into the process of fast track to marriage, I'm going to encourage you. So there's not this pressure of like, oh, I'm trying to get a relationship. No, it's practice. That you actually will communicate and send out your letter from Papa and GWs to people, not just single people, but also married people too, male, female. Just again, it's practicing, and that's what's gets you your practice, is the repetition of this. So that's your action. One of your action items from this mentorship session, Phylis, is to let me know through WhatsApp. Message me and tell me who it is you're starting and you can do it through Marco Polo. So you're not bound by time. You don't need to do an actual, live, or do even a Zoom call, or do, a FaceTime call. You can just do Marco Polo. That's why I enjoy Marco Polo, because then you're not bound by time, right? You may be in a different schedule than that person. But what you can do is you set your time to do it in the morning. So it's like you're doing your deliverables, right? So now it's part of your practicing, because when you get into a relationship, right, and we get you processing too with your children, we want you to be in that habit. So you're doing your sanctuary practices, your GWs, and your GWs are going to, in those sanctuary practices, are going to be for, like I said, Papa God, self, and then others. And that other is going to be this new friend from Connection DNA private group. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. And so we'll start that process for Monday, because right now you've been on a break from the content and things this week. So when you do your sanctuary practices and you do the content, after you do your sanctuary practices, do a Marco Polo with that person, and then send it, and then ask for theirs too. So you're going to send them your letter from Papa God and GWs, and do the GWs for Papa God, for self, and for that person. Okay. Out loud. Again, that's part of the practicing. And again, it's kind of like Psalms 91, you're declaring it right out loud in your home. Well, this is the same thing. I want you to get into practicing that, because that's part of the process, just so you know, of connection and marriage. Having an incredible heaven on earth marriage comes from this process. It builds confidence because you're doing it, you're saying it, speaking it. It builds connection, right? And it's practicing communication, so it makes you better at communication. So in this, we cover the 3C methodology, and we actually cover it throughout our content, throughout the cycles we create. But it's time for you to take action and start implementing it with others now, right? Because you've been doing it yourself. Now, first action item for you is to add someone else to the process. It could be your son if you wanted to. However, I'd rather it be someone in the community so that they can respond back, because I want you to get that too. And that's part of the process. I want you to get used to feeling and hearing their letter from Papa God, their GWs to Papa God, themselves, and then over you. Right? I want you to have that experience, because it's very powerful. and very exciting to hear those things. And also, it's cool to hear their word from Papa God. You might be able to receive it for yourself. And I know going through this because you experienced this at the retreat, because we do this at the retreat. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's part of our process at the retreat to give and receive the GWs to each other and the letter from Papa. So very cool. That's one of your action items. And then now you've got your calendar we were talking about. So you start at 7. By the way, the sanctuary practice are 686, which is 20 minutes. The content is never longer than 25 minutes max, but you can speed up the delivery speed. In our home, we do it at 2 times the speed. So the content never takes longer than 10 minutes, 12 at the max, because we're doubling the speed. Because again, when you go through it so much, it's really about refinement. The action items and those things help to refine you, help you to level up and discover new things as you go through it. Man, every time, just today, we're in week 7. Obviously, it's Wednesday, so session 3. And man, today was awesome. It was the communication of the lion communication for us. That's what was fresh to me. I'm like, I just watched this, how Abraham Lincoln was a powerful, amazing lion, and his level of communication and being able to tell stories was fantastic and amazing. And that's one of the samples in our course that we talk about and go over and get to witness. Man, when I was watching that today, it was super enlightening. Where'd my Oh man, I have my notebook in here. Doggone it. I was going to tell you my note. I love it. I mean, I gained some new, I'm just trying to prove that this is like my 12th time through, and there were some new nuggets that were dropped on me on the revelation, and I wrote it in my notes. I got to refer to them, but I'll get them before we close. Remind me at the end, be like, hey, what was that revelation? Because it is cool. I go through the same content that other people in our community are going through. Why? Because it's a reminder to level up. It's a reminder of communication and how important it is to communicate and keep focusing on improving our communication. One of them is stories. Yeah, I need to get it, because matter of fact, we talked about it as a family. When I got the phrase, I was like, oh, we got to talk about this. So I'll go get it in a minute because it's in the other room. But now for you, Phylis, so that takes about 30 minutes, 40 minutes exactly, with the sanctuary practices, and then probably another 20 minutes max for the content. That's 40 minutes, and then probably another 10 to 15 minutes max, 10 minutes delivering the Marco Polo now, because you're going to deliver your letter from Papa and your GW. So we're at about 45, depending on if you speed up the content or not, 45, 50 minutes. Your action items too will take you a few minutes. So hour of power. This is the things that we do to help you improve using 3C methodology in your hour of power, and then your communication cubed in your hour of power, and also your ability to go to fast track marriage. All right. So these are all the things that why do we say an hour? Well, because I want it to be real for others, and I also want it to be real for you. You have a life. You're a busy woman. You're doing your exercise videos. You're doing your talk every day, which is awesome. That's building confidence and courage. So I definitely can see that you are busy as well. Very productive woman. Sports and things that you attend to, your kids, and doing your job and stuff, your work. So, but give us an hour. So I would say by 8:30, you can be finished, maximum by 8:30 with the content. Now, you said you've been doing your videos at what time?
I try to do them around 8, and I get up early. I try to get up earlier. Like tomorrow, I will get up early because I got to leave.
Yeah.
Like when I leave work, I'm leaving. I'm not coming
There you
home. So everything's got to be done before I
go.
leave.
And therein lies a key to your success of getting things moving. Create, and this is another part of your action items, create a deadline. Okay. So I want you to start telling people, and I know you say this, but I want you to fulfill it and follow through with it, because you're an ox. You have the strengths of the ox. And so follow through is definitely a strength that you have, and being faithful and dependable, I want you to start doing your videos at 8 o'clock every day. Okay. Or 8:30. If it's 8:30, then make it 8:30. But I want you to make a time and then stick to it. If you need a little buffer, even sometimes I like doing it off times, like at 8:15 or 8. But you decide. Then I want you to declare it to your audience, and then I want you to follow through with it every day. Why? Because it's going to be very powerful to have something that is a deadline and accountability to a deadline. I've created that throughout my life, and it's what has helped me to be faithful and consistent and follow through. And right now in this, while Hazel's in school, our deadline is 7:15. She needs to leave and go to school by 7:15 a.m. So guess what? Our hour of power is from 6 or 6:15 to 7:15. Now it's really awesome. I do this with Hazel, and I say, because she likes to leave. That's actually a little early. Her school doesn't start till, takes about 15 minutes. We take her to school. She could take the bus, but even that's purposeful. Everything we try to do is purposeful, because we want to spend some time with her. Either I drive her to school. Most of the time, Chantel drives her. Once in a while, I will. And we talk and have good connection time, right? And encourage her as she's getting out of the car to go to school, right? To be a light, to be the change and not receiving other people's drama and junk. So we always try to speak into her just before she leaves and give her that encouragement as a leader. But what I'm saying by that is 7:15. Oh, I tell Hazel, I said, so if you want to leave by 7:15, then you have to be down here by 6:15. We take an hour. It's an hour of power. So she does really good at it. It's really cool. So do the same for yourself. Like now, if you're going to create the 8:15 or 8 o'clock, let's say it's 8 o'clock still, your video's at 8, then you know, in order to get through your practices, and then guess what? You create another accountability. You know that person that you're connecting with on the Connection DNA group, right? Our private group wants to receive your Marco Polo. So now you've created another deadline for yourself. You're not going to want to miss that. And plus, you got to check in with me. Right? So you've got several accountabilities and several deadlines, which is awesome. It's not pressure. This is progress. Okay? Different P. Those of you taking notes, this is not pressure. This is progress. This is how we progress and keep moving forward. I've done it for years and seen huge results because of it. It's when, and it's actually a law. I think it's Pareto's law. I have to look this up, but it's literally, if you're given time, you'll fill it. If you're given time, you'll fill it. You'll fulfill it. If you're given this much time, you'll fill it with all kinds of junk. And if you're given this much time, you'll fulfill it. You'll make a way. Now, obviously, sometimes we don't give ourselves enough time, and we'll learn. But I promise you, an hour of power, we've tested it and tried it with thousands and thousands of people. You can do sanctuary practices. You can do the content, and you can gain more communication and confidence and delivery of that stuff in less than an hour, being an individual. Even a family, as we proved it too, it was just, I think we did it in 90 minutes before with 16 people at the retreat. I think it was 90 minutes. We did the process. Like, it can be done 2 hours, and that's 16 people in 2 hours doing this process. So, and I'm just encouraging you to, again, create the deadline, announce it, and tell them, hold me accountable. Be on here at 8:15 with me, or 8 o'clock. Matter of fact, what is it going to be? Make a decision now.
I'm going to say 8:15.
All right. Beautiful.
Except for Thursday. Thursdays and Saturdays will be a little different. Thursdays are earlier because usually I take a shower and then do the video. But on Thursday, since I'm my exercise video, I exercise first. And then I take a shower. So I have to do that earlier. And then just because it's Saturday and people sleep later, I give them a little break. So
sure. Yeah. You should sleep in too. You should be purposeful about that on Saturday. Maybe even skip it Saturday because you're resting. It's okay. It's a great example, right, of follow through on that too. So again, that's where your consistency can come in too, is where you understand that, hey, it's a little much to do it 7 days a week, right? Or even 6. Let's just shoot for 5 and be very, very consistent with 5 and on time, right? So then 8:15. So then that means you need to be getting started no later than 7 probably, so you can have a little buffer for a shower, for all the things you're talking about, right?
Mhm.
But again, I'm telling you, it's going to cause you to progress. I told you that, and I did this today. Like I told you, I said, I'm going to set you up. I'm going to set up Young Jen. Some people on our YouTube channel are like, hey, I saw you earlier. Yes. Because again, we did this live with Young Jen, live with you. I'm in this frame set of moving forward, helping you guys in mentoring you and doing lives and talking to the audience too. So I don't want to have to shift brains and do something else, but also I got a deadline. I know that I had to be done with Young Jen because we're going to be moving into the next phase with working with you and starting on yours and getting your stuff ready and working on some other things. But also I put some deadlines in between on other projects I'm working on. I put a little 15-minute, 30-minute thing. That's why you and I was like, give me some time. I'm almost done. Right. But I squashed some work into that small little pocket and I got it done. That's the beauty of it. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's like, okay, I'm going to figure this out. And we made it and we were on time starting our live, right? I knew I
Yes.
wanted to brief with you a little bit beforehand. We got a little bit in there and talked about, again, I want this real and raw for the audience. I'm not trying to script this. So we just do a little briefing beforehand, 5-10 minutes before we started, said, okay, here's kind of what we're going to do. And we're going to just do it real online or on live with you. So I say that to say this, that I do what I tell you to do. I do the same constantly. And to be honest, today was crazy awesome. Like starting at 4:44. I mean, I had some things like boom, 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 boom. Like 5 a.m. I had an appointment with myself and doing some training. And then 6:15, 6:15, my family was down. 7:15, Chantel and Hazel were out the door taking Hazel to school. I had an 8 o'clock appointment, and it's just like boom, 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 boom. It was an awesome day. And guess what? I feel pumped up because I just kept moving, and got a lot done. This day almost feels like 5 days because of the amount of things that I packed into it. I'm going to tell you the same. Get your process going, do your sanctuary practices, and then here's the thing: if you're up at 7, you have an hour. You could probably even add some fast track into there, a little bit of the pressing play on fast track, because I want you to absorb as much as you can of this process, okay, in that morning. Why? Your brain is fresh, your neural passageways are rested, you're fresh, ready to receive. Get your cup of coffee, get going, set yourself a deadline. Maybe it's 6:45, maybe it's 7 at the latest. You're getting out of bed, going, getting ready, getting your coffee or whatever you drink. Do you drink coffee? What do you drink to get you going?
I only drink water, but I do drink Ninja Red sometimes. And
Ninja. Yes, very good. I like Ninja Red as well. There you
it's
go.
a habit. It came today.
Good. Do your
Just in
shot of
time.
Ninja. Okay, Phyllis? Get your drink of water. Wake up, get your drink of water, and do a shot of Ninja. Have it right there ready to go the night before. And I want to make a point to you. You said something very true. Discipline of getting up in the morning has nothing to do with the morning, has everything to do with the night before. So you're on it, and I'm glad you know that. We've talked about that before in our trainings, and I just want the audience to hear it. It totally does. Your true self-discipline is getting your butt in bed. Those of you watching, if you get your butt in bed, you can get up in the morning. We highly, highly recommend, we talk about this in our training a little bit too, 8
Yeah.
hours. That's why on our calendars, it is 5 a.m. to 10 p.m., right? And
It's
so
9.
you're going to sleep. It's 9. That's what I thought. 9. I'm like, wait, what is it? Because I get up at 4:44. I'm like, I'm going to bed by like 9:30. Again, it's not perfect. I don't have 8 hours every single night, but that's my goal, to be going to bed and getting in bed by 9:30. Some people are like, yeah, right, Carlos. I see you doing Psalms 91. You're right. I have been doing it late. A lot going on, funerals, family. But yes, my normal, you will see, I will get Psalms 91 done before 9 and heading to bed because I want to get my 8 hours in. It's important for our brain to regenerate and to have the best day ever the next morning. So, Phyllis, you're awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this process with me.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you for doing it with me. Remember to get your notes.
Yes, ma'am. That's right. Thank you. You talk to I want you to tell them a little bit while I go grab it real quick, because I do want to tell you what my session, the breakthrough of my session today. You tell them a little bit about your sanctuary practices real quick.
All right. When I do my sanctuary practices, I write my letter to God and then I read it out loud. And then I go to, I use randombibleverse.net on my phone. I find it easier than the Bible because the Bible, I'm not sure, but I'm going to the right verse. So I use randombibleverses.net and I write that down. And sometimes I'd go to more than one and do and write down my letter to God. And then I do and I read that out loud, and then I do my gratitudes and worthies. And I do 2 gratitudes and 2 worthies for each,
That's
to
cool.
God, myself, and to whomever I'm saying my gratitudes and worthies for that day.
I love it. It's good.
So future spouse,
That?
I have done future spouse, the gratitudes and worthies for my future spouse. I did that at the retreat. I've done it since then.
You did. You did. So good. You're right. And we do recommend that. Thank you for reminding me. For those of you that are single, that's part of your action items too. Okay. Thank you, Phyllis, for reminding me. But yes, you do your gratitudes and worthies for your future spouse. It's very powerful. We've had many people do that and see incredible results. So,
Yeah. That's
so good.
Thanks. That's my
Okay.
faith. It's very important that he's got to have faith in Jesus. I don't care about the denomination. This is a relationship with Christ.
I love it. That's your number one priority, and I love that. And that could actually help too if he's teachable and coachable. Remember?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because if he's not teachable and coachable, but he has faith in God, it can be challenging.
Yes, it could be. Definitely.
So that's why I recommend that teachable and coachable thing to be the top priority when you're looking for a spouse. You could also introduce them to Christ. That's awesome. All right. So here we go. And then we'll close out with this. So today I was on week 7, session 3, and it was one of the communication, 4-dimensional training on communication. So it was a communication. Why can't I think of it all of a sudden? It's not squared. Cubed. Thank you. Cubed. Communication cubed. So, all right. One of the things, here it is. This was the big takeaway. So, people see how they are. That's the phrase. That was a big breakthrough. And it was interesting because in the beginning of our training, it was talking about how Yeshua was such a powerful, remember I said it's linked to Yeshua, and he's such a powerful storyteller. He tells parables. And Yeshua actually, in the example, he asked his disciples, who do you say that I am, right? So he asked the question, and it wasn't that Yeshua, Jesus, as some of you may call him, was having an identity crisis. No, he wasn't. He knew who he was. He knew he was the Messiah. He knew what he had to do. But what he was really wanting to see is how the disciples saw him, because here's the wisdom. People see how they are. Now the phrase and the revelation was not the thought, but the revelation was actually that phrase. And I need to go post it on Facebook. You could do it, Phyllis. But I will probably too. But seriously, phrase in big letters and like on Facebook, just say, people see how they are. And that's real. People will judge and see, and it's called, in some circles, people say, well, you're just projecting yourself on me. It's true. Right? That could be another way to look at it. And it was cool because, again, people see how they are was a fantastic phrase that just popped out today as I was listening to the content. I'm like, my goodness, this is so real. You know, people do. They will see things how they are. Meaning, if I'm judgmental about people in the way that they spend money, or this is a good one. This is a really good one, because I used to do this. So I need to say what I used to do. I used to be very judgmental towards people that would not pay their bills on time, or wouldn't follow through with things, right? I.e., my father. He's passed away now, but I did. I was judgmental on my father for not following through on things when I was younger. I was judgmental on him not paying for things, his bills and things. And so, guess what? That's what I ended up becoming. What I saw in my dad was who I was. And my judgment then caused me, literally, I remember silly tickets, like nothing, like parking tickets, not expensive. I would ignore them and not follow through and pay those. And then end up being tickets that cost me $500-$600 when it was only a $50 ticket. It was crazy the way I used to do things. And then also another situation was, what was it? That's the big one. And so not following through again on bills and things. And again, that was my primary judgment towards my father. My biological father, was the fact that I thought he didn't follow through on some bills he paid towards my braces when I was a little kid, right? And also on his following through on giving me gifts that he would. It's just a crazy cycle, right? And so then I end up not being a guy that doesn't follow through on situations too. During that time of judgment, right? When I was judging people. So again, what did I see? I saw in him, and that was who I was actually, right? So my judgment on people not following through, I would see it a lot. And then I realized, oh, I'm actually not following through. So now what I do, and again, we're a little bit over time, but now what I do is the opposite. When I see something in someone else, I automatically now, so kind of flipping the script, I automatically say, do I do this? See the difference? Instead of saying that person doesn't follow through, I may see, oh, they're not following through. And then I go, okay, do I follow through? And then I check myself. It's like an audit. When I see something in someone, I do an audit of myself. Instead of saying what people see is who they are, right? They see that and judge people. That's usually because that's who they are. And that's why it sticks out to them, because they know they have that issue, right? Well, now I try to do the opposite. And I say, I see something in someone. I go, okay, but am I doing that? Like I may see, okay, someone's judgmental towards people, right? I mean, say, look at this guy's judgmental towards people. And then I go, oh, wait, but am I judgmental towards people? And I try to think, does that need to change in me? Do I need to improve and become better at honoring people? Right. So just a little nugget and a thought. And that's from today's content, right? So much depth. So we talked about it as a family. Like we're like, okay, what people see is who they are. Like, what do you see in people? Hazel, my daughter. I'm like, and Chantel, what do you see in people? And meaning in a judgmental way, or it could be in a good way. Now I see that they're very loving and kind and honoring and blessing people. And that could be because that's who you are too. With you, Phylis, you're an amazing supporter. You bless people. You blessed us by showing up to Hazel's game, and it was quite a drive for you. But that's your faithfulness and your ability to show up and follow through. And I see that in you. And that's who you are too. It really is. You're made it a lifestyle to be such a great, loyal, faithful person and friend. Anyone that knows you is super blessed. And I'm blessed to have you in our life and to be close by. You live in Georgia, so we get to see you at different times. And it is fun to get to connect with you. So thank you, Phylis. Any last comments or words?
Thank you for all of that. I love that y'all have moved to Georgia. I was so excited when I found out you were moving to Georgia, and even more excited when I realized where you live, because for some reason I thought y'all lived way down in South Georgia, like hours away. I'm like, oh, I know where they live.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. Yeah, and it was. I didn't even think about this until I was watching the video last night on the Fast Track to Sanctuary Marriage about where you live being social circle and that being like cycles. I'm like, oh, that is pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. It is funny. And I remember that when we were doing that fast track video, it's like social circles like a cycle. Oh my gosh.
That
What? That's
was
fun.
that was like, wow.
Yeah,
Oh, that
it's
was
a lot of fun.
amazing.
Awesome. Well, bless you. Let's pray us out real quick. And we'll just declare, Father, over this process. Papa God, I thank you for this process. I thank you for my sister, my friend, my incredible alliance with Phyllis. And I pray, Papa God, that you would just continue to bless her and continue to let her see breakthrough. I thank you, Papa, that she is doing the Psalms 91, that she is processing, going through the content and continuing to connect with you, Papa. What an awesome, faithful woman. And I pray too, Father, for the breakthrough in this process and understanding the fast track, understanding the road and the practices and just the habits that will take her to an awesome, incredible marriage. She is worthy of that marriage, Father. And I hope and pray, Papa, that through your guidance and through the wisdom of our content and process and through her connection with you, Papa, that she would begin to receive that incredible, amazing man that you have out there for her to be able to finish life with and have an awesome experience in life with, Papa. So we just thank you and honor you and bless you in this process in the name of. Oh, and also, Papa, we pray for anybody watching this that are joining us for these next 8 weeks as we go on this journey together with Phyllis, and they too are seeking a spouse, Papa. I pray that they would get some breakthrough and some clarity, and that they would see the benefit too of accountability and working together with a community and a team. And I pray, Papa, for just a favor and breakthrough and blessing for them as well, and for the spouse of their dreams. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen. Amen. All right. Bless you. Thanks again, Phyllis. And thank you, those of you watching, for joining us. Have a great evening. Bye.